Does it sound okay? Is everything alright? Can you hear the medium decent sound? Sorry. Can you hear me alright? Okay, gotta turn down the music. Oh, it's better now. Okay, I'm doing this shit right now. Alright, so you could hear me okay over the music? Stupid thing. Okay, there we go. Alright, I think it's working. Seems to look alright here. Alright, cool. How's the balance now in game? Good mix now? Better? Alright, cool. Alright, well, I don't think anybody's here, but that's okay. So, I'm just going to start going through stuff. Yeah, so this is the tutorial level. And it's just going to set up, like, for the hack. You know, just some information, what you should know. But, like, all the levels in the hack are named after songs from bands that I like. So that's, like, kind of where the names come from. And then, you know, you could hit select to save on the overworld, like usual stuff. And this one is called Welcome Home. So the hack is called Burning Star, which is a reference to the album that this song is from. So that's Good Apollo on Burning Star 4. So I called the hack Burning Star. That is my favorite band. So there's on-off blocks. Stuff sprites can go through, stuff sprites can't go through. This sets up a trick right here that you're going to do in a level coming up. So I just wanted to like show it off before you actually ran into it, and then show you the on-off blocks, show you that if you happen to trigger it, but if you hit the on-off blocks in the middle, you can actually hit 2 of them at the same time and do the like double on-off thing and patch that. So yeah, this is the first level. Oh, well, actually I should do the message box. So, called Miracles in Inches. It's a Glassjaw song. So they have an album, well, an EP coloring book that was really, really good. And that's a track off of there. And I thought it just sounded cool for a Kaizo level. We'll regrab. Oh, what a choke. So I wanted to start the hack off with something a little bit easier. So this level's, I guess, my attempt at building something easy. It's not too bad. The levels in the hack definitely get harder as you go though. The block that explodes with the Koopa there is like kind of a throwback to Quickie World. Like one of the first jumps in Quickie World, which was the first thing I played in Kaizo. You have a jump onto, I think a Goomba explodes out of a block like that, right at the beginning of the hack. And it just made me think of that. And I thought that was a good fit for the first level of this hack. So yeah, there's the first checkpoint. That jump can be a little bit tough. So those pencils there are actually something that I set up for the grinder to pass through. And then the hitbox on that thing is pretty rough. But the grinder can go through parts of those pencils there. Kind of threw some people off, I think, at first. So I added the coins to hopefully make it clear that you hop over, but that the grinder will follow you. Oh. So this setup here actually used to be different in the very first version of this that I sent out to testers. There was like a series of regrabs with saws coming at you. And it was pretty tight. Like, it was not an easy setup, and I thought I could make it into something just a little bit more approachable. So I wound up changing that, and the setup now kind of has you jump on a saw that's coming at you, and then catch another one to get on the Koopa, and it feels, I think, a little bit more consistent. I actually haven't played on this setup yet, so it's like throwing me off a little bit. I wound up building a new PC, and I got like an ultra-wide monitor because I use the same setup for work. So it's really nice for like programming and stuff to have the big screen. But that also means that the monitor setup I used to have for streaming is different now because I'm just like routing it all through this single monitor. And I'm looking at the live stream, which is like slightly delayed instead of the panel on my monitor. So just gotta get used to it. So the music for this, I think it's kind of funny that a lot of Kaizo hacks use music from this game, which was Spanky's Quest. It's like a game that I had as a little kid and played a ton of, and I've beaten many times, and me and my brothers loved it. So the music is so awesome. So I wound up I had a different track in this level at first, and I didn't really like how it fit. So I switched out for the Spanky's Quest music, and I like the way that paired up like that. Oh, fuck me. So that jump is a little bit tough. You kind of have to jump at the right time to make it over that spike thing. So even though those things look like a little bit resemble the like spikes in the castles, the pillared spikes, these things are pretty much just like munchers, like a whole thing of munchers. So whatever tile set that I wound up grabbing to help build this level, that was like one of the graphics they had in there. So I wound up using it, and they had it, you know, set up in like a sample level. And anyway, I think it looks more forgiving than it actually is. Keep grabbing too hard on that. Okay. See? Get it from the other side now. Yeah, it's the controller. It's the controller's fault right now. Definitely not me. Okay, I can jump. There we go. Choke. So that's the end of the level. So I set up this spike here, and it's like kind of an anti-troll, but you see how the Goomba falls off at the end. You know, I guess I'm curious to see who it gets, but I think so. I was watching Joker this morning because he was playing the hack, and he had seen it happen, and he wound up like just having momentum and crossing through the spike. And you know, I think he realized what the troll was, or like the joke troll. But if you try to jump over this, it's like impossible to make. If you had the Goomba, you could make it over it for sure. And I think if you like fool around enough, you could actually respawn the Goomba. But let's see, there it is. So you could actually respawn the Goomba, but if you're over here, he'll walk through, and you would have figured it out anyway. But that's like the joke. So maybe people will get caught by that, and it'll be funny. But that's the first level. So that level that we just played, I'll hit this. So that level that we just played is pretty new. I made that like pretty recently, after letting this sit for a really long time. But this level is actually the second level that I made, and I made this probably like last summer, I think. So I broke my foot last summer, or fractured it, but almost broke it. And I was out of commission pretty much the whole summer. So when we went to the pool and stuff, you know, my kids were swimming, and I brought my laptop, and I would just, you know, work on the hack. And, you know, I was doing that because I couldn't go swimming or anything. So this level's been sitting around for like almost a year. And there's stuff I like about it, and there's stuff I don't like about it. But the whole idea from the beginning was to have these two fuzzies that kind of went through the level that made it where you could get through, because without them you wouldn't have any pathway to get through the level. So you're meant to use them as your vehicle almost through the rest of the level. So that setup, I think people wind up doing it differently, and I think this too, right? So I usually do that setup like that, but you can spin jump over it. It's fucked. So yeah, you could also do like that. Oh. So one of the testers had mentioned that the fuzzies were a little tough to see with the background there. So I tried to lighten them up just a little bit so that they still look like they're supposed to look, but just, oh man, I totally choked that. But I tried to lighten them just a little bit so that they stood out from the background. So this is Streets of Rage music. Great track. Oh my god, I swear to god. The shell jump level should be fun if I'm playing like that right now. So yeah, if you don't grab that block in time, or make it there in time, you die. So yeah, you kind of have to keep up with the fuzzies as you go. And then the second section's more of that, and I think that there's probably a little bit of touch-up that's going to get done in that section for a 1.1, just based on seeing some people play it today. So yeah, I think that's been pretty cool, just like progressively getting to see more people play it. You know, seeing where I might do something a certain way, or, you know, the setup's meant to work a certain way, and they're not approaching it in the way that I approached it, or like, yeah. So that kind of helps, but I think a lot of stuff is pretty alright, and I don't think there's too much confusion, so like, I think just a couple tweaks here and there will go a long way. But yeah, people are getting confused with this setup, which I can understand. The challenge that I've had with that setup is that doing something to indicate it is tough, and I think that maybe there's some more muncher reduction that can be done to try to like declutter the screen a little bit. Some of it, you know, most of it's really just there for aesthetics, but yeah, I can see where it looks kind of busy for some people, and that makes it hard to like give good direction in that spot, because there's like already a lot going on. And then we kind of just got through the rest of the level there. But yeah, there is a Kaizo block that exists where you get on the platform that swings back and forth right at the end, and that I think is it is kind of a mean Kaizo block. So I think I'm going to change that one where it's outlined so you could see it, just to make the jump still interesting. Or, you know, make it where you hit the Kaizo block and then jump on top of it and jump across. Like, I think a lot of this level gives you kind of options between the two fuzzies. So I think keeping in the spirit of that, I might make it where that Kaizo block's like more visible, and then it makes it kind of something that you could use to your advantage rather than just a mean troll, and kind of fits in the spirit of the level. So anyway, so that is Second level, City Escape, named for a song on the Deer Hunters' first album. Really cool track. So when you clear that level, I'm not sure why this happens. I haven't been able to figure it out, but maybe somebody who plays will know better than me. But it makes like the castle breaking sound when you beat that level, which I think is weird. I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know that it's really a problem, but weird side effect or something. Like so much of this, so I think, most people start from like a base ROM, but when I started building this hack like a year ago, I just kind of jumped into doing it, and I didn't really look into it or whatever. I just downloaded Lunar Magic and started fucking around, and I wound up just making this level that I'm about to play in a second here, or like the first version of this level. This was like the first thing that came out. So at the point where I had really realized that people use base ROMs to build this stuff, I was kind of like far enough along, or had added enough custom stuff that getting it transferred into some other ROM, like base ROM, and manually porting things just seemed like a real pain in the ass. So I tried to do all the patching and like get everything fixed myself and figure it all out on base Lunar Magic. And some stuff has good tutorials where I think I was able to figure it out pretty easily. But I definitely still like I think that one of the things that was hanging up Joker in that level that I just played is that shell that you do a shell jump with that's set up in the tutorial. And like that shell, I think probably needs to be a one-time use shell that explodes when you're done using it, because you're not meant to take it with you. And I think he kept trying to figure out how to take it with him, and like that wasn't intended. It was just meant to be, instead of throwing the shell up to activate the on-off, you have to shell jump up there. And it also makes the fuzzies move, and then creates a little bit more of like a waiting time with the fuzzies so that they line up. So anyway, it's just meant to like stall the player kind of and do something interesting in that space. So yeah, I think I'm going to try to figure out Pixie next. Oh, the camera's too dark. Let me see. Hold on. Trying to get the chroma key right. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. There we go. All right, let's see. Is that better? Camera better? I don't know if I have it set up just right. Hopefully it looks a little bit better. fix this? That still looks fucked up. Let me see. I think something's on wrong here. Maybe that's better. Hopefully that's better. And it's still like not totally right, but anyway, it's gonna be what it's gonna be for right now. Okay, so yeah, this is the first level I made for the hack. It was originally not called this, it was originally Purple Haze, but I chose Toxicity instead. And actually the song that was originally in this level was from Donkey Kong Land, but I just thought this song was more fun. Whoops. So I ended up switching it out. And I think it fits the level better than what was here before. So yeah, there's a trollfish there. So yeah, landing on that mole is takes a few tries to get the feel for, I think. It can be tough. Choke on the block. So a lot of this hack, I think, like, my general goal was to just have fun movement, you know, just kind of keep the player moving and doing interesting things. So there's not a lot of just straight up waiting. Sometimes there's like strategic waiting where, you know, you have like a falling platform and you have to give it a second for things to line up right. But generally speaking, you know, most of the hack you're kind of moving fast. So yeah, I think that this level is kind of where that started. So like, yeah, you might have some small waiting and stuff like that, but that's like the extent of it if there is any. So these are tough jumps. I mean, I think for the most part, from watching people play, they were able to get that pretty easily. So I think that that's pretty alright the way that it is. But I was considering changing that setup to be slightly different. You know, something a little bit more forgiving, but I think it's okay. That's a tough jump. You don't have a lot of space between hitting the poison water and the munchers at the top. So there is another jump in here that you know people are getting hung up on, and it definitely needs to be indicated better. So it's something I'm going to be updating. But this jump here, if I wasn't terrible, I did it before, but it's meant to be run under the Koopa that jumps over you. And if you run under it, it lines up perfect. Like you just run under it and jump, and you just pretty much make it every single time. It's hanging people up for sure though, and it wasn't ever meant to. So it's something that testers had found too, and I wound up tightening up the setup a little bit so that you could only do it a certain way, and then I wound up adding another block. And I think that the problem at this point is just readability. The consistency is there, but it's not readable the way that it is. So Coin Trail actually I think works perfect, and it shows the exact like path. Like that's how you're meant to do that. You just run underneath it. So there's a troll right here. There are 2 Kaizo blocks. So you can kind of do that a couple ways and still survive. So if you hit this block here, you're pretty much fucked, like you're gonna die. This block here, if you get here in time and you're able to land and hit this, you'll kill the mole. So you can escape that way, and you might wind up doing it your first try. The other way is you could jump out and around. And then the third way is actually, this is just water. So unlike the other part where I've made that poison water, like it's just 1 F0, but that's actually water. So if you just kind of get in the water, you could avoid the mole entirely. So I think, so like Joker, I don't think like those Kaizo blocks either, but I think those ones are gonna stay. It's a pretty good troll. Okay, so we're not going to do that level yet. So that was the regular exit for toxicity. If you wanted to do the any % route, you would just continue on from here. And you could play this level, and there's 1, 2, 3 levels after this. So 4 more levels basically from this point in the hack. And you would reach the credits, and that's the any % route. So if you come back to this level though, there is a secret exit, and it leads to a switch palace, which I will show in a moment. But it's a shell level, and I kind of made that an optional level just because I think it's something where enough people who play Kaizo don't do shell stuff that level might be prohibitive to completing the hack. And I didn't want the shell level to be a stopper for anybody. So if you want to play it and you like shell stuff, then your reward, I guess, is that it unlocks a secret level at the end of the hack. Oops, those are big jumps. So the original version of this level, of this sub-level, was very difficult, probably like expert level difficulty. I just played Grand Poo World 2 like a month ago, I think at this point, maybe somewhere around there. And the bat level or the swooper level in there was definitely in my mind when I was making this. But yeah, it's a tough little section the way that it was, but this got changed too, so that I loosened this whole thing up just to make it a little bit more forgiving, which I think it's very forgiving now. It's still tight and it's still like, you know, a challenge, but it's a lot more forgiving than it used to be. So yeah, and then the section there with the little flimps, originally I had blargs there, and I didn't really ever settle with the setup. It's like, okay, it was okay, it worked, and you kind of had to rely on the fact that basically when blargs even aren't showing on the screen, a lot of times there's still a hitbox there that you could spin jump off of. So if you know that about blargs and where I set them up, it would be decently consistent, even if it didn't look like the spawn position of the blargs was quite right. But that's just like kind of shitty. So anyway, once I saw people playing it, it was obvious that I just had to fix it. So those are just flips sitting on 1F-zeros, and really it's like the challenge wasn't meant to be trying to coordinate the blarg jumps. It was to do some regrab spin jumps holding the key right there and wait on the bat. So trigger the bat and spin the key. Oh, but you give the bat a little bit of time to get over there, and then you got a couple platforms that you can use to stall with to let the bat line up more cleanly, and then like try to, well, I respawn the bat by you walking over here to get the key, but I also show you the next setup with the platform so you know what's coming. You know, I don't know how readable it is, but that was the intent. Oh! And yeah, if you don't catch the bat far enough to the right, so like I needed to let it stall a little bit more on the platforms. But yeah, if you don't let it stall enough, it's like you miss the key by pixels. So yeah, even there I barely caught the keyhole, but you still catch it. So anyway. And then yeah, that was some Donkey Kong Country 2 music. I believe it's Sticker Brush Symphony is the name of that. Okay, so this is a Switch Palace. And yeah, this is a shell level. So Kaizo for me started in Mario Maker 2, and I think like, so when I was playing that game, it kind of just started out with like, I was getting better and better at it, and I kept playing harder and harder levels, and then if you've ever played Mario Maker, the way that it like sets things up is that you could play based on difficulty. So super expert levels were like levels that either not a lot of people cleared or people died a lot playing. So I started just playing what was popular and super expert, and I started seeing these like Team Shell levels pop up, and that was like, you know, I guess for me at the time, like the most challenging stuff that I was finding in Mario Maker at that point. So I wound up getting really into the whole like Team Shell thing, and you know, I'd say predominantly I was playing Team Shell stuff exclusively in Mario Maker. So yeah, so then what wound up happening is like after a while I just got to a point with Mario Maker where I think like well, a lot of people were kind of like not making levels anymore, and I think I just kind of got tired of like the Team Shell being the only thing that I was kind of doing there. Not that there weren't other teams doing other cool stuff. I think I was just like kind of getting worn out on the game, and I had watched, you know, in that time I really started like engaging more on Twitch and stuff when I was into Mario Maker a lot, and I wound up at the beginning of the pandemic really starting to watch like Grand Pooh Bear and Barb and some other like SMW streamers like Third Wall and Slotcore, but I started watching, you know, a lot more SMW stuff. And you know, then I was like, I think the during the pandemic the Super MT got reprinted, and I wound up getting one, and you know, kind of going like whole in on well, not totally, I guess I was still playing Mario Maker, but really getting into ROM hacks, and I wound up doing Quickie World 1 and 2, and but I wound up starting to really get into like just general Kaizo, and you know, most of what I played at this point in SMW is like just general Kaizo, but you know, I still love shell stuff a lot, like Fire in a Shell. I did that a few months ago, and that was really, really good, like super awesome hack. You know, I've done the Team Shell hack, and I've done, you know, pretty much any shell hacks that I've been able to find that are like reasonably well done. Oh, it's up the up on this controller. Anyway, so I think that it was important to me when I made this hack to do a shell level. Like I kind of had to do a shell level. But I know that for a lot of people who play this game, shell stuff is not their favorite. So yeah, so that's why it's optional. And then the hidden level, which I'll get to later, that this unlocks is a cape level. Nothing crazy, but kind of felt like you may as well put another thing people generally, or a lot of people tend not to like, or especially people who are playing intermediate level hacks might not be super into or comfortable with cape. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Oops. Sorry. I didn't see it. Oop. Oops. So yeah, this level was kind of interesting. It's existed in pretty much the same shape since I built it, which I did towards the end of 2022, maybe? Yeah, I think that's when I wound up building this level. Oh, fuck. And it's looked pretty much the same, like, mechanic-wise, but I wound up changing the background from, like, the standard Switch Palace background, and put this other background in, and, like, put the clouds, which is just, like, the mist setting, turned all the way to white. But I thought it kind of, like, thematically fit, because you're, like, up in the air, using shells to stay up in the air. So that kind of works. And then the music is from Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball, which was like favorite at my house for sure. Me and my brother Rob played the shit out of this game. Played Ken Griffey Jr. and me and my friends, and yeah. Anyway, so this song I've heard so many times. And if you ever played King Griffey Jr., like while the game is happening, this song just loops in the background, I think, until the 7th inning stretch. And then they play like one other sound, and then it goes right back to this. And like every game you play, this song's just playing all the time. So I thought it worked for this level. So Rob, yeah. So, of course, I'm playing like garbage and not getting through this and like anywhere near as fast as I should be. But that back shot is, it's pretty rough. It's a tough back shot. Oh, damn it. I know I didn't approach the first shell enough, far enough to the right in order to catch that where I need to, and I thought maybe I could save it, but I did not. So I think Bracky, who did some testing on this for me, he pointed out that I guess Shellax has like a similar opening. A Shellax level has something similar to the opening of this level, which was not intentional at all, but I mean, I did play Shellax for sure. And it was a long time ago at this point, maybe a couple of years ago that I played that. So I guess subconsciously maybe Shellax reference there. Oh. So I'm guessing that for most people this is going to be the hardest level in the hack. If not this, the cape level for sure. Oh, so yeah, the song for this, so since it's the Blue Switch Palace, I had to name it something with blue. So Blue Automatic is a song from Thank You Scientist off their second album, Stranger Heads Prevail. Very good song. Great band if you ever heard them before. Very talented set of guys. Oops. So the one thing about this back shot is you can course correct yourself pretty well to catch it. Like, I overdid that. You can kind of let off the jump button and fall into it. You just gotta, make sure you re-grab hard enough or quick enough to not do a re-grab, but do a full bounce. Which and you could also kind of fall back into it and then transfer your momentum forward. And you could catch it really low. So it might seem like you're lower than you think you are, lower than you think you can go to catch it, but okay, there we go. I fucked that up. So yeah, it ends in a shell drop. I guess, or I mean, I know that they're not super common, but it's not a really difficult trick. You kind of just have to drop it at the right point. And the same thing, you kind of course correct on it unless you do it like really off, like I just did it. But that's the last trick of the level. So you do the drop, and there's one little part after that. But it's in a separate room where the switch is. So that shell, I wish, maybe this is something that I'll be able to add. I just gotta kind of figure out adding custom sprites. But I'd like it where you could grab that shell, either where I just jumped underneath it there, or where I have it placed currently, because like I feel like you get punished there if you don't catch it in the right spot. And it's like not, I don't know, like I wish it would work for both. Anyway, so yeah, that's the shell drop. It's not that hard. It's just like a little timing based thing. So yeah, thank you Scientist Below Automatic. Somehow that's from 2010, incredible. I can't believe it came out that long ago. So yeah, there's that Goomba there that can kill you. You could also fuck up this shell jump. So pretty much up until last night, if you fucked it up like that, right, you would have to go redo the whole level. But I was like, you know what? I should really put a checkpoint there. And no yump, embarrassing. I decided I really should put a checkpoint there because it's a tough level, I think, for most people. Even if you're good at shells, it's still not like a walk in the park. So yeah, so I threw a checkpoint in there in case you fuck that up. Just no reason to replay the whole damn thing. Okay. So this level's called Falling Down. It's a Story of the Year song, so post-hardcore band. And it's on their first album, Page Avenue. Very good album. So this is like the closest thing that this hack has to an Ultra Star. Obviously it's like not at nighttime and yada yada. So there is a Kaizo block there, which was really just meant to be kind of like a throwback to Ultra Stars. I also saw people do that setup a couple different ways, which, you know, was not necessarily unintended. Like you can, I spin jump over it. You can avoid the Koopa. You could regular jump on it. It's kind of like flexible enough where, whoops, not like that though. It's flexible enough setup where you can kind of do it multiple ways, which I think I'm cool with. But I saw people, you know, approaching it different ways already, which there we go. That's a tough jump. And those pencils are difficult to avoid. Getting those to line up right, to do the motion the way that I wanted them to was a gigantic pain in the ass. I'm surprised that it's consistent, but it does the same thing every time, so. But they're all at like weird jank levels to make it do that right. So this is another older level. This was the third level I built. And I also built this like last summer, so probably about a year ago. And then I think that when I picked things back up, I kind of tweaked a few setups on the second half of this level. And then there were a couple more changes during testing. Like that's a lot more forgiving than it used to be, which is fine. You still kind of have to do it the same way, it's just not as tight. Oh man. So you're just supposed to jump right there. I don't know why I did it that way, but if you jump, you'll catch it right on the other side, no problem. Rex Tower. So this has some Sonic the Hedgehog music. Fun track. And yeah, that's the end of the level. You won't die there at the end. So this level thematically changed a lot. So originally I didn't have any of the rain or anything in here. And I had I had a song from Banjo-Kazooie Mad Monster Mansion. I didn't think it fit the level very well. So I did like the background though, and I wanted to keep it. And I still wanted to give it like a bit of a Halloween vibe because I worked on this level with my son Mikey. So he was like pretty vested in what we were doing in this one. And it was supposed to have kind of a Halloween theme. So we, took it, I guess I took it to like kind of a darker spot. So we got like the Castlevania music going on. And I put the rain tiles in everywhere, which was a tremendous pain in my ass. And I added the ASM for that lightning that's in the background, which I think gives it a cool extra touch. There's probably more green beans in this hack than you're expecting. So I think Toxicity has them, this level has them, the castle has them. But you don't have to do anything too crazy with them. Ah, I didn't fall on it. You actually have a lot of space to do that. You just like hang back a little and you'll get the height and then you just move forward. Oops. So yeah, I'm guessing people are not, oh fuck, I fucked that up. I'm guessing people are not going to be too fond of that jump. But I like it, so it's not going anywhere. Oh my god. Awful. usually super consistent at that. Oops. This is the, oh yeah, do the message box here. There we go. So C2A, runaway reaction. So he's a instrumental prog guitarist, or composer, I guess. Anyway, usually, when I was streaming semi-regularly in the past, a lot of times I would use his music in the background on stream. So yeah, so that's kind of like connection for me with doing Kaizo stuff and streaming Mario Maker at the time. What? Okay. Oh my fucking god. So yeah, after you catch that midair, you have to like use the chuck to kind of send your momentum to the side to make it over that jump. So it's kind of like one rough jump into another. Okay. Woo! So yeah, originally that shell used to just sit there and you kind of just like picked it up and ran and did the shell jump, but I thought it was like a little bit more fun to make it kind of pop off, catch midway and do it. And then I guess like a happy accident, but those two ropes, they used to both just fast fall to the right. But when I had added in the rain everywhere, for some reason the rope that's at the top there was affected by it, and it like did that motion instead. But I guess that like I wound up trying it and I kind of liked it, that it gave a little diversity of the setup and changed the timings up a little bit, and I liked it better that way. So yeah, if I hadn't put the rain in here, I think that would have been a less interesting little part there. So, or like, it used to be more unforgiving because you have to catch both ropes. You have to catch the first rope, and it was tough to do that. off the shell jump. So this makes it like a little bit more forgiving. But the timing difference, I think, creates like a different kind of challenge that still works. I didn't think I was able... yeah, I kind of paid the price later. So yeah, if you catch that block and you're like not centered on it well, if you're too far back, towards the end of that, sometimes you can fall off the block depending on how close you are, because your speed isn't exactly as fast as the block, I think. So yeah, I was pretty close to the edge of that, but that also meant that I got to that Chuck's rock there, like closer to the left, and I didn't regrab very well, so it kind of screwed me in. That rope where you throw this block up, I wound up making one longer, just to give the player a little bit more room. That was one of the things the testers had come back with. And that seemed like a fair change, because that's pretty tight. There's that rock that falls, and it's can be very tough to avoid. So yeah, that was Runaway Reaction. So Numa. So, Tool Song off Fear Inoculum. Great track. So yeah, this was one thing that Joker had kind of mentioned, which is something that I've been annoyed with, but I actually just don't know how to fix. So if anybody's watching this, or anybody does watch this, and you want to help me out here, I don't actually know how to make it where you get the same consistent level of height off both jumps of that. It's like super annoying to me that you don't. So I want to patch that so that every time you get the full jump height that you're supposed to get. Anyway, yeah, that was something that he had complained about, and fair complaint. I do want to fix it, or I did want to fix it, but I just was never able to figure out how to patch it. And I'm sure I could probably ask around, so I'll probably wind up doing that for the 1.1, and maybe I should have figured that out for the initial release, but I did not. So yeah, there is a mean Kaizo block over there. Wow, take your time. I'll show you. I'll show the Kaizo block when we get there next. So this one, I think the way that I'm going to change it. I'll show you in a second when I get there. Yeah, I was going to get up there again. Super annoying. Okay, so that's the Kaizo block. It's a mean one for sure. So, I mean, I think once you hit it, you kind of know, but I think what I'm going to wind up doing for that one is just add another block to make that jump tighter. Alright, so there's the H. That timer is pretty tight. You have to do a controlled shell jump there to make it. So another complaint, I guess, was the spring, is the vanilla spring. I did find that patch, so I'll patch that so when you grab the spring, it doesn't kill your momentum. Same for when you throw it. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's super hard to deal with, but I know that people just don't like it, so yeah, I don't think that the trick is any worse or better or whatever either way, to be honest. So I will patch that just for like quality of life reasons. So this, I think similarly with this setup with the Goomba, you're like not meant to care about the Goomba. You just like throw it and kill it. And it's just meant to kind of break the block wall so you can get through. Which I thought was a cool setup, but I don't know, maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea. Almost didn't make the timer there. So yeah, that's the back half of that. I think the chuck setup is like pretty intuitive. You have to kind of like leverage it for its fullest extent to make that, and you got a regrab at the end of it. It shouldn't be a super big regrab if you do enough floating out there with the different jumps off the chuck, but I guess we'll see how people deal with that little spot there. That's a tougher level, I think. The timers everywhere are pretty tight, and that Kaizo block in the first half is rough, but like I said, I think I'm going to adjust that, and I'll do that spring patch, and I don't know that there's a lot more that I'm going to change about that necessarily, but we'll see. I'll definitely wind up going through like another round of testing on the 1.1 version with people. So this is a castle, so if you skip the Switch Palace and the secret exit, this would be the last level in the hack for you. So Castle Kingdom, I thought it made sense. So anyway, Devin Townsend Project is the band here. This is off of Epic Cloud. Great album, great song. Devin Townsend's a great artist. And the music in the actual level is from Hooded Edge, I believe, did this remix, but it's Mega Man 3 Snake Man music. And it is, it's pretty catchy. Oh, that was way too early. Anyways, this is a 5-room castle, and there's no checkpoint between rooms 1 and 2. There's a checkpoint between room 2 and 3, and then you have to do 3 and 4, and then there's another checkpoint for 5, which is the boss fight. So that's room 1. Oh my god. So one thing I did notice earlier is I was watching, this is about when I tuned into watching Joker play this, but you're meant to wait there for a second just for those guys to kind of turn around. If you jump forward or spawn the other guy, their spawn times will be off, but like you actually can't make it or do anything. So I don't know that that's an issue, but sometimes it's hard to let people know that they have to wait. So that setup, I think Joker figured out, but it took him a couple tries still. But those coin indicators were something that I had added based on testing feedback to show you how you're supposed to do that setup. And, you know, if you do it that way, it's very consistent. Obviously, you still have to catch the thwomp before it falls, which, you know, is part of the trick. But it should be very consistent in that you'll mostly land on all of them if you just follow the coin trail. So that's a little shell jump there. Oh, choke. So there's a little disco shell ride there to the checkpoint. So if I didn't fuck that up, we would have been at the H, well, the first one. So at this point in the hack, like Numa, which we just played through, which was like the Gangplank Galleon song from Donkey Kong Country, whoops, and this level, and then Death Rattle, which is the hidden level that comes after this. I pretty much built those sequentially in trying to finish out this hack. So like, I think that because I didn't start on a base ROM, I don't know, just in general, I think that like I've figured out most of the stuff in Lunar Magic okay enough, but I feel like those base ROMs have a lot of stuff in them that are just like, fuck, she was stuck with it. Anyway, they have like a bunch of stuff that's patched and that's useful, and you don't have to do all that stuff, and it does source control on it really nicely and well. So I think like if I was gonna build more stuff, I just wanted to get everything I had done and out, but there was like still not enough levels in my opinion for where I wanted the hack to land. So I kind of stuck with it and built that Numa, that level we just played through, this level, and then the last level in succession at the end here. Well, that and the secret exit to toxicity. I built that also in that like set of levels, plus the credits and the tutorial and all that crap. But pretty much the end of this hack I developed sequentially. So I should probably add that one more switch up there too. So sometimes you can grab that and you can actually shell jump too well. Or, you know, grab the shell and jump off too well or too high, where you wind up doing the shell jump too high. And then you don't hit the on-off, and then you're dead. And that kind of sucks, because like, you succeeded at doing the trick, and then you get punished for it anyway. So yeah, I might just add one more on-off there. Oh man. The one thing I will say is I don't know how speedrunners do it. Like, I've played these levels so many times in, you know, testing sections or parts over and over again with like minute changes. And, like, I'm so sick of playing this hack. I don't want to do it anymore. But it's incredible to me how those guys just like stick with the same hack over and over and over again, playing levels like ad nauseum. Even getting that consistent, like, I made these damn levels and I'm still not consistent at them. So yeah, the amount of skill those guys have is pretty crazy. No, my God. Case in point. Okay, let's see. Fuck me. Okay, there we go. There's the first midway. Oops. So this is room 3. Oops. Oh. So yeah, big shell jump there. Nope. Okay, so this section actually got redesigned pretty recently too. So there didn't used to be the third fireball at the bottom, but fuck. During playtesting, there was like some spawn jank with the fireball that I had there, or Potable that I had there. So I just decided that I needed to figure out a way to kind of solve that part with something consistent. So I thought it would be cool with the third fireball. It's like you kind of see it early, and now you gotta go through the rest of this part where you use the top fireball, then you transfer it to the saw, and then you kind of gotta drop down to the bottom fireball now. And you just kind of ride them throughout the whole thing. And now that got changed like that, I actually like that section a lot. I think that's like one of the cooler spots in the hack. So yeah, this is that was the end of the sections 3 and 4. And then when you go in this door, it checkpoints you for the boss fight. Oh. Sniped. That's not what I was trying to do, but sure. Oh, I'm fucked. So you need to get the mushroom, which I keep failing to do. Okay, so now you're meant to keep the mushroom so that you can survive after you kill the moo. So there's 2. So the bullets are random, you know, and it's like, I'm not a big fan of Kaizo boss fights. They're not my favorite. But I kind of feel like you need something. So this was like my compromise for having something. But the bullets are random, so sometimes you do just get randomly fucked, which is, you know, not the best. But you do have these blocks, which, well, you can use to protect yourself, but I failed there. So. Oh. And I'm pretty sure whatever the spawn dependent, like the spawns of those bullets are, that they're consistent once you are in this room. So like because I checkpointed you in the room, I think that it does the same spawns every time. So I think that removes the RNG from it in that sense. So like this one's gonna fall in that shitty spot. I mean, listen, it's not the best thing ever created, that's for sure. But music's good. And it's fun enough. I don't mind it too much. It's like not super stressful or anything. There we go. So yeah, that bullet's in. There you go. So you just gotta, use the mushroom to save yourself at the end there. So, just for now, I'm going to skip the credits and come back to them after the next level. So the credits will unlock the final level of the hack. So that'll complete the path back to the welcome area. And and then this is the secret level of Death Rattle. So it's a prize fighter Inferno song, side project of Claudio, the lead singer, writer and everything for Coheed. So prize fighter is something he does. Death Rattle is probably one of my favorite songs he's ever made. So yeah, and I actually had a Mario Maker level with the same name. So yeah, if you got here and you didn't clear the Switch Palace, obviously these wouldn't be filled in, so you wouldn't be able to get over here. So this is the cave level, and I think that there's going to be some adjustments to this too, just based on some of the feedback today. I don't think it's too off where it's going to land anyway. It'll probably be like mechanically pretty much the same, but just a couple like little changes, which maybe I'll show after this. Whoops. So yeah, the way that this was meant to work is you're meant to shell jump with that guy after you use the cape to spin and get him. And that's the first section. I think I made it look decently easy, but that's not that easy. It's a little tough. So yeah, you have to kind of like follow along with the block that gets kicked, and then there's that floating block there to knock it back your way, which is tough to see until you get there. But that's why you have the 3 blocks there, is like to kind of stall on them. So yeah, you could just kind of like float through that, couple like strategic dives and stuff, and you get through that. Then you're meant to slow down here and just keep the item flying. Oh! And yeah, if things go well, you hit the P-switch, unlike what I just did. But yeah, this is definitely Grand Prix World 2 inspired after spending fucking, I don't know, 18 hours in the Irie altogether. I have no idea how long I was playing that stupid level. A really long time. Maybe it was like 10 hours or something. I don't remember. But yeah, some of it stuck with me, I guess. But I did like in that level where in between the kind of like brutal flying sections, there were really cool cape things where you weren't just flying, right? Like you're using the cape, you know, to do stuff like this. But I thought that was like really cool. I really liked that about that level. And I think that you don't see a lot of cape levels that just use kind of standard cape tech without flying. I mean, obviously this has flying in it too, but I think, you know, I wanted to do like a mini all cape stuff in one level. So this is that. I wouldn't say it's like super hard, but it's definitely not super easy either. Okay, let's see if I can do it this time. There we go. Yeah. So that was the last level. Post credits, but we're gonna go back to the credits now that we beat the last level. And yeah, that is Burning Star. That was the whole hack. Let's see, it's been on for an hour and a half, so yeah, got through it. I mean, I think generally it takes me about an hour to play through everything. Yeah, give or take how well I'm playing on any given day. So yeah, I had to use Gerudo Valley somewhere. And yeah, the song in the last level there was from Booster's Tower in Super Mario RPG. Just like a fun track. So, even though this is, you know, mostly a vanilla hack, there's definitely been a lot of resources used from SMW Central to do backgrounds and other ASM and all that stuff. Yeah, so shout out to the testers who helped test this. I think that all of them kind of brought stuff forward that was really good and it helped improve the hack, and I think that there's probably still some more that I'm going to do. Post 1.0 here touch things up and make them a little bit better. But I think even where it stands right now, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I think that it was a cool experience. So yeah, it's dedicated to my sons, Nicholas, Michael, and David, and my partner, Anna, who is definitely watching right now. But yeah, so that's my family there. They've been very supportive in this and making it and stuff. So, and I know that my son Mikey's like dying to watch this. So anyway, yeah, that's Burning Star. So hopefully if you play it, you'll enjoy it. And if you do play it and you have any feedback or anything that you think would be better or be cooler or whatever, like you see something that could use an improvement, I'm definitely open to hearing it. I know the hack's not perfect, but I think it's like, pretty close to where I want it to be. So any feedback to kind of make it that last extra mile, though, I definitely would be interested in hearing it, and we'll do some adjustments for a 1-1. But yeah, I think that like all in all, I'm super happy with it, and I think it turned out the way that I wanted it to turn out. And I think the difficulty scales in a way that I was hoping it would. And yeah, I like all the music tracks that were used for it. And I kind of was a little lazy on the overworld, I guess. But I thought having the star from Star World was like, reasonable given the name of the hack. So, and it actually fit perfect for like the number of levels and everything that I needed. It just like kind of worked. So yeah, like normally when you get to the top of this in vanilla, it's actually one tile set higher. So like where that pathway between toxicity and falling down is, the secret exit level and the one to the right of it. Normally that hill sits one level higher and then the star spawns on there to go to like the special world or whatever. So anyway, this was pretty convenient for that. So but it still was a humongous pain in the ass to get all the events and everything working. So I have no idea how people build like really huge overworlds and stitch them together. It's like really painful every time I have to do edits to this thing. So yeah, thankfully, at least I think that part of this is right, and there won't be any changes there. But yeah, so that is the hack. So there'll be some updates soon, but I hope that you still play it anyway. And hopefully having this video, which I'll post on my YouTube, helps in kind of seeing how to play through all the levels, and if you're getting stuck or some setup's not making sense, like this hopefully clears it up. So anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys coming, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.